Welcome to Parsha with Purpose, where each Parsha becomes a guide to living with meaning, serenity, and joy. As the Jewish people traveled through the vast empty desert, they carried something remarkable with them. They carried evidence of love that had been planted generations earlier. Long before the slavery had ended, long before the wilderness journey even began, their forefather, Yaakov, had already been thinking about them. Through prophecy, he knew that his descendants would one day leave Egypt and travel through a barren land with no trees, no vegetation, no natural resources. And so, with the quiet devotion of a Zayda preparing for grandchildren he would never meet, he planted acacia saplings. He planted hope in advance. He planted provision in advance. He planted the future in advance. By the time the Jewish nation left Egypt, those saplings had grown into strong, towering trees. They cut them down and shaped them into planks and carried them with them into the desert. Those very planks became part of the Mishkan, the tabernacle, the dwelling place for the Shekhinah, for the divine presence among them. But this raises a question. If Yaakov was preparing for the needs in the wilderness, why prepare wood? Why not prepare food or water? How about plantations of cocoa beans? Surely those would be far more essential for survival. The answer is both simple and profound. Material survival would be provided by Hashem. Food could fall from the heavens. Water could flow from a rock. Physical needs would be met in ways only He could provide. But the Mishkan was different. The Mishkan was not about survival. It was about relationship. It was never meant to be merely a structure that housed holiness. It was meant to express a longing, a choice, an offering of the heart. In the ancient world, people believed their gods lived in temples while they lived their own separate lives. They would visit, perform rituals, and then return to ordinary existence unchanged. That is not the Jewish way. The Mishkan was never meant to contain Hashem in a particular generation, in a particular place. It was meant to reveal what happens when people invite Him in. Its physical structure expressed something far more personal, the desire to make space for Hashem within us. And that is why the beams had to come from the people themselves. They could not be delivered ready-made from heaven. They had to be planted, grown, carried, and shaped through human effort, through human devotion, through generations of intentional preparation. The very act of bringing the wood was itself a declaration. We want you close, Hashem. We're making room for you. We are building this relationship with our own hands. Those trees were not just building materials. They were love made visible across time. They were a reminder that connection to Hashem is not passive. It's something we prepare for, invest in, and build. And that message reaches directly into our lives. What is today's lumber? It's about building relationship. Why did Hashem create the entire universe? Because He wants to have a relationship with us. He wants us to share our lives with Him. You're scared about something? Tell Hashem. You're happy about something? Share your joy with Hashem. You're eating something delicious? Thank Hashem. Make Hashem a part of your life. Just as those trees were planted long before they were needed, the capacity for closeness has already been planted within us. Because the deepest message of the Mishkan is this: Hashem's presence rests most powerfully where it is welcomed, and every one of us has the ability to prepare that place. Good Shabbos.